Hey, Rich, good morning.
Hey, good morning. One second. My speaker's being a little funky.
Yeah, of course, take your time.
All right, that should be good now.
Awesome. Where are you calling from? Where are you located?
Iowa.
Oh, where about?
Ames, Iowa.
Yes, I'm from southern Minnesota, so very familiar. I grew up in Rochester and spent a lot of time in Iowa.
Yeah, I'm from north central Iowa, so it's even closer than Ames is.
That's awesome. I'm actually super excited that you are my first call this Monday morning because I this weekend went to my first ever gaming convention. I'm kind of trying to learn more about the world. So
Very
excited.
cool. Where and what was that one?
So I'm based in Raleigh, North Carolina now, and it was one called Playthrough.
Mhm.
It's They said it was the biggest one in North Carolina. I don't know. I'm still pretty new to learning about it all, but it was really cool.
Cool. And then gaming in terms of what was it? Board games, video games.
It was a mix. So they had a lot of tabletop and card games. They also had a ton of like video game setups going on. They had There was other stuff too. They had like some anime stuff. I don't know. It was like a big collection, but it was really cool.
Okay. And what got you to do that?
Launch boom. Like we see
Oh,
things
okay.
come through all the time, and I admittedly am pretty new at learning about that world, and I wanted to know more and learn about some people's games and see what was going on. And there was one happening in my backyard, so I figured I would go check it out, and it was really cool.
Nice. Very cool. And Raleigh, is NC State in Raleigh? Okay.
Yes, yeah, that's where I went.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I competed for Nebraska, so
Oh,
we would go out and do NC State and Duke and UNC, and hit the three right there.
yeah, competed in.
Wrestling.
Very cool. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And NC State is a good wrestling school. So
All right, I didn't know that, but I'll take it.
yeah. Yep, they're good.
Amazing. Well, I really appreciate you taking some time to chat with me. Usually how I'll do these is I just ask you a few questions kind of in general about your experience and some specific things. And then if there is anything that I'm missing or you have some feedback in general for the program or things you'd like to see, we'll kind of capture that at the end.
Great.
Amazing. So obviously I'm a little familiar with your product more than I am others sometimes, but I would love to hear in your words kind of what your product is and why you decided to take it to Launch Boom and crowdfunding in general.
Yeah. So it's an easy answer and a loaded answer. So um basically we knew what we wanted, and that was a game. The best way to do it was Kickstarter. The problem was we didn't know how to run a Kickstarter campaign. So we just started to look for different companies that offer different services. There was several, and I mean, we did this over a year ago now, so I can't remember who we all looked at, but they had like marketing services built in where they just said, hey, we'll take care of the ad campaigns, we'll do all that kind of stuff. Then they take their fees and all that. And then I met with Joe and I'm trying to think who the first person that I met with was, but maybe Cameron. I think Cameron and Joe. And then after talking to them, just kind of realized, you know what, I think we can do this ourselves if we just kind of have like a roadmap for it. And so instead of paying for any like marketing services where, they would just do everything and we would just hand over the assets, we thought, I mean, we can figure this out. And so, yeah, we did that. We ran our first campaign, which was a comic book, which was this, and that pulled in 60,000. And we learned a ton on what worked, what didn't work, just in that experience. But really, yeah, the reason why we chose Launch Boom was, just going back to, I didn't know how to run any kind of crowdfunding campaign. I didn't back any crowdfunding campaigns. That it just wasn't my thing. But the market was really hot in 2022 for card games, and so a lot of other ones, they came before us, which of course we think ours is the best, but they raised a ton of money, 600, 700, 800,000, $1 million on these different campaigns. And I think the reason why we didn't hit ours that high is we were the very last one. It was like everyone else did it before us. And so it kind of just lost its spark. Yeah, so that's why we know what we wanted. We wanted comics, we wanted to do board games and card games and all that, but we needed someone to just say, this is what you should be doing in general. And then we have learned a lot in the background on how to optimize that process for games specifically.
Awesome. And I'm just taking some notes if you see me going like this.
Nope, you're good.
That's super awesome. Yeah, you're right. It was like a really hot time for that stuff. Tell me more about, it sounds like you were really looking for something like not as hands-on going in. And so that style was a good fit for you. Tell me about how it was joining office hours or going through the modules. Was it super helpful? Were there things missing? Did you feel like it was guiding you in the way you were expecting? Kind of anything about interacting in school, or I don't know if we were in school yet when you came, but
No, yeah, school wasn't really a thing yet. So what I had was just like the Launch Boom website where it hosted all the videos. And so me and my brother is one of the other business owners. We've got 6 owners of the business, and we just tackled it, slowly but surely tackled it. We have different strengths. So, just focusing on certain things. The office hours weren't convenient for any of us, so I wasn't able to leverage that. But what Joe was good at was I would just have questions and I would fire off emails. And then once we actually had the live campaign, then I switched over to, I don't even know why I'm blanking on his name. I talked to him so much. But yeah, I'll find his name here in a second. But he would always, respond to, hey, I need to figure this out. I need to do like a Lumen video, show me, hey, this is what you got to be doing on the back end. So yeah. It was.
Cool. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Super helpful. Was it time for office hours, or like, was there?
It was the timing of it. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'm not cool, but good to know.
Yep. No, you're good.
Amazing. Is there something that you feel like in doing the Launch Boom system that really changed your campaign or helped, or something that you feel like you wouldn't have been able to implement without kind of going through the Launch Boom process with it, had you just done Kickstarter on your own?
Yeah, the ClickFunnels system was big. We gathered a ton of leads with the ClickFunnels, but what was weird is our first campaign had a really high conversion rate. Our second campaign only converted at about 20%, which was, we thought it was going to be sitting around 40% based on just everything. But I think that there were so many other factors as to why they didn't convert. I think we had a really good campaign given all of the challenges that we faced.
Super helpful. If you were talking to other people in the gaming community, I know I was surprised, or not surprised maybe, but it was really interesting to me when I went through this convention this weekend, how many people were launching on Kickstarter. Like there were games that were like live now, or I'm going to be live. If you were talking to somebody else in the gaming space who was like, hey, should I join Launch Boom, or what do you think about Launch Boom? Kind of what would you say to them or to a friend? What would be your advice?
I would first ask, how dedicated they are, like just at a entrepreneurial level. Like, are you ready for this? I don't know if you really are ready for this, because it's going to be a lot. And then the second question would be the follow-up. Okay, let's say you are dedicated. How experienced are you with, Kickstarter and crowdfunding from building a campaign side of things? And if, the answer is I'm motivated and I have no idea or little experience or whatever, then I would say go to Launch Boom, because they're going to pretty much build a roadmap for you on all the different things that you should be doing as you go into your Kickstarter campaign.
Super helpful. Kind of a side question here. Do you attend these conventions? Like, do you go with Alpha Clash and?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. We have a big lineup this year. So I had never heard of the one that you went to. Probably would have been great to go to, but yeah, we'll be at like New York Comic Con and, like pretty much all the big ones. And then also we're grinding it out with like even the smaller shows, they're not as motivating, but I mean, for any game developer, like any single person you can get as an interested lead, that's where it's at. Yeah. And what's great about the conventions is it's similar to like how people scroll on Facebook. They walk by the booth and it's just like someone that just scrolls past and like, nope, I'm not interested in this ad, right?
Yeah.
But it's where you're going to get your most quality leads. They can feel it, they can, experience it in real time.
Yeah, that's really interesting to me. I know. So I do, for context, a lot of our events or outreach and stuff like that as well. And I think it's something that we're definitely going to get more involved in terms of attending or maybe doing booths or things like that. And so I wonder if there's a chance for us to do something collaborative or
Yeah,
at one of these events. That would be really interesting. I would be curious, just for my own research, if you don't mind, like sending me the names of a few that you're going to.
I'll
Just
send you our
yeah,
schedule. I'll send you our lineup this
I would
year.
really appreciate that. Yeah, I think I would I want to go to more. This one was in my backyard, but I want to see what else.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the convention scene, it's interesting. I don't come from a gaming background.
Okay.
I was the head of strength and conditioning for Cirque du Soleil before I did this. So I
That
used
is
to,
not a gaming background. You're right. You're very
yeah, I used to present on, periodization and training methods and that kind of stuff at these conventions for um, that market. And then now I'm in the gaming market, so it's just really funny that people like sit in on presentations about building a game or whatever. Um, there's really a market for virtually anything,
Yeah, for sure. That's really interesting.
Let's see. I know I've got it here and I don't want it to slip my mind.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm kind of just scratching the surface now, but we definitely want to be more present at them or find a way to be involved. But I think what you said is right. It is very, from what I observed, like scrolling on a phone. And also
Yep.
I noticed like you got to have something to do at your booth or like to be engaging or
And yeah, that's where I think our team does a good job. Like we'll have like a Plinko board or we'll have like a spinning wheel. Like there's just something that draws people in, even if they're like not into whatever you are. You're like, hey, do you like free stuff? I'm like, well, yeah. And you're like, check this out right here. Spin
yeah,
the wheel. Who doesn't like a prize? Oh, by the way, this new superhero franchise. Are you into superheroes? That's great. And you just kind of
you got it down. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. So I got it here. I'm gonna copy and paste this for you.
Yeah, we've done some cool, like not in the gaming space, but we go to conventions and things for more of our physical product side of the business, right? Like gadgets and tech. And we've done some really cool collaborative booths with our clients before. And I'm trying to like spin my wheels and be like, maybe that could be something that happens in this space too.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think what Launch Boom could do, I mean, you should go after the board game space.
Yes.
Even more so than the trading card game space. Not that there's not a market, but the board games on Kickstarter, just people love them. It's just a huge market for it. And like Dungeons and Dragons style tabletop gaming.
Totally. Yeah.
Those are huge on Kickstarter. And I mean, in my mind, you could easily run a booth and go around to the creators and be like, hey, do you need help? Because we help people. And they'd be like, yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, that was kind of a question I had going into this weekend was like, would it even be a thing people are interested in? But it totally was. Like people, the second they found out I worked in crowdfunding, were like, had a lot of questions about Kickstarter and stuff. And it's like a really curious group. So yeah, and I would say it was a mix of, I definitely talked to maybe like 40% tabletop folks, and then card folks as well, and then some miscellaneous folks.
Are you, let's see, CK at Launch Boom?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay,
that's me. Thank you so much.
Yep. Just sent that over.
And then I want to be respectful of your time here. Is there anything in terms of, I know I have the note about the office hours and that's super helpful. And obviously you're not attending them now, but that is something I think feedback that's been heard and they're experimenting with some new times. So I know that's not a direct benefit to you now that you've gone through it, but definitely hear that feedback. Is there anything else that would have made your experience better, or if you were going to launch again and do it, that you would have liked to see? Any feedback that you think would be good for the team to hear?
Trying to think back on what was available when I started, what became available during, and I'm sure there's more available now because I know the program's been growing and growing. There was definitely a lot of help on like creating ads and optimizing ads on social media, but I think more on that, like almost holding their hands more to that process, because it's a difficult process. I had to hand that over to my brother and just be like, you have to do this. I don't have the brain space to take care of this. And I remember there was stuff on there, and it wasn't absent. I just remember it was so challenging to do that part, and so I think the more you can optimize that process for people, the better.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think, I've been meeting with quite a few folks who have gone through the program and pulling out some common themes. I think that's definitely one of them. So something we can hopefully address and provide some more support on. So I really appreciate that because it helps me kind of finalize the feedback in the report to know that that's definitely something that's coming up more than once.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard. That's a hard skill.
Totally. Yes. And there's a lot of stuff that's a steep learning curve, but that is very steep.
Yes, that is.
Amazing. Anything else that you feel like we didn't capture or cover?
I don't think so.
Amazing. Well, and my email is always open. So if you think of anything else or ever want to chat further, feedback wise, totally always reach out. And then I will definitely keep in touch around the gaming convention stuff. I think that's something pretty high on my radar to get a plan around. So I appreciate you sending that list and sharing.
And those are, just so you know, those are more trading card game and comics book based conventions.
Cool.
We don't have a whole lot of board game stuff on the schedule this year. Next year, because we're going to probably launch a board game on Kickstarter, then we'll have a new updated schedule for really hammering out the board game stuff. So it really just depends. Like for Launch Boom, just know, obviously you can help everyone, but there's an increased number of board game and D&D style campaigns. So like just knowing your market, being prepared for those things would be good. But again, you could easily go to the ones that I put on the list, and I think Launch Boom would fit.
That's a super helpful advice. Is there like 2 or 3 on this list that you feel like these are the big ones, or these are the ones that are covering more?
Let's see. Dice Tower would have been good. That just happened in Las Vegas. Just there was 6,500 board games there.
Wow. Okay. I'll definitely put that on the list for next year to look into.
Obviously, like you're not going to be able to, well, you could, but probably not. The Anaheim one, WonderCon, that's a precursor to San Diego Comic Con. So it's large and it's pretty diverse with what it offers. It's going to be a mixture of comics and games.
Okay.
If you want to hit the retail side of things, like I don't know if there's a market of introducing yourself to retailers and game stores and things like that. That's what the Gamma Expo is. That's number 3.
Okay, probably less in that regard. Yeah.
But that one's just very like getting in front of retailers, showing them the game. So that Des Moines Con, I wouldn't do that. That's going to be smaller. Origins is an interesting one. It's a huge gaming convention. It's massive. That's definitely there. SuperCon, also very massive.
Okay.
Very, very, very large. The other one, number 9. So we just looked at 5 and 6. Number 9 is Gen Con. Gen Con is probably one of the biggest gaming conventions.
Good to know.
And then obviously New York Comic Con.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy expensive, but it's definitely one of the biggest out there. And then I don't know why I'm missing it on my list, but Dragon Con, I forgot. I don't have this on this list. Dragon Con is in September. That is the biggest of all of them.
Okay.
Called Dragon Con, and it's in Atlanta.
Oh, great. Okay.
You just search Dragon Con. It'll be the first thing. And
PAX, I feel like I've heard of before.
PAX will be huge. Obviously, you're in North Carolina, so it's not super close to Philadelphia, but it's within a reach. Within reach.
Are these ones, do you get booths at all of these, or do you attend? Yeah,
I've got a booth at all of these.
Okay.
Except Gen Con, they are super exclusive, and so we have more of like a demo setup for that. But all the other ones will have like big setups for.
Very cool. Okay, this is really helpful. Amazing. I'm gonna.
All the other ones I didn't list are more on the smaller scale, not small, but just smaller than the other ones. So it really depends on what you're looking for your like target market. You know,
Yeah.
you
No,
want
this makes sense. I pulled those ones out and I'm going to look into them. I appreciate it. It helps to talk to somebody who knows the world a little more than I do. And it was so much fun. So I'm excited.
Oh, Collecticon Charlotte.
Oh, amazing.
Charlotte's not on here because I probably can't go to that. But Collecticon Charlotte, because you're so close.
Yeah.
That's in September, I believe. They moved
Okay.
this year. That the Collecticon shows that are all listed there, it's more deep than it is wide. So you're not going to get the 200,000 people that Gen Con and Comic Con pull in, but you do pull in 5,000 or 10,000, and it's like super indie niche, you know, community. So you could hit some, you know, good stuff there.
Yeah, that's super helpful. I am gonna deep dive and look into all these. I might email you if I have a question or a thought, but I appreciate it so much. This is awesome. The best meeting to have first thing on Monday morning after that convention.
Right? Yeah. Talk to the
perfect timing. Yeah.
It's funny. I'm definitely not your typical gaming convention person. I've just kind of inserted myself into the industry, and you know, we're figuring out.
Yes. See, okay. So you know what it's like. It's definitely a learning curve to come in, but everyone was so kind and so nice.
Oh yeah.
Really willing to chat with me and teach me something. So I appreciated that a lot.
It's a good community like that for sure.
Yay. Awesome. Well, thank you, Ridge. I owe you a coffee and I'm going to send that to your inbox. But otherwise, I really appreciate your time and this stuff, and we will keep chatting.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Have a good rest of your day.
Yep. You too.